Hey there, folks. Tito, Jeff Thitoff here with your Buckeye Blitz. Follow me on Twitter @FitHappens. Go to fanstreamsports.com. Check out all the great content we have out there. Lots to talk about today. I want to start off with a couple of things that were said, or a couple things happened with former Buckeyes. Ted Ginn Jr., the former Buckeye great, who I'm sure you know. He was named head coach of the United Football League's Columbus Aviators. Coming up in the spring of 2026 will be the first season for the Columbus Aviators. Again, United Football League, Columbus Aviators, Ted Ginn Jr. named their head coach. Also, another former Buckeye, Jeremy Ruckert. He signed a 2-year, $10 million contract extension with the New York Jets. Jeremy Ruckert, I remember talking to him when he was just coming in. And one of the things that Ohio State did at the time with the tight ends, I think it was Kevin Wilson was the one who was running things then for Ohio State as far as the working with the tight ends and whatnot. And they said they want to ask Jeremy, they want to ask the tight ends, who is it you want to be like? Whose game do you want to mimic? And Ruckert said Rob Gronkowski. And so Allen said to him, hey, look, go watch all the video of Rob Gronkowski you can, and we'll work towards that. Now, Ruckert was a third-round pick in 2022. And he's only got 55 receptions in his career and 1 touchdown so far. So not great numbers. But the fact he gets another contract, 2 years and $10 million, that's a big deal. And what I like about it is that one of the things that Ohio State does better than I think most schools, or more than I shouldn't say better than most schools. I think Ohio State, one of the things they do better than they get credit for is developing players that do more. For instance, Zeke Elliott was a great running back at Ohio State and obviously had a very successful NFL career. One of the things that scouts loved about him, though, was his ability to pass block. Ohio State really works on that with their running backs. With the tight ends, they've had some really talented tight ends come through here, and Ohio State teaches them how to block. Look, if you're a tight end in Ohio State's offense, you're not going to put up stout numbers. You put up good numbers, but you're not going to put up like these like numbers that jump off the page. It's a Heisman candidate or something like that. That's not the way it's going to be at Ohio State. Ohio State gets them ready for the NFL. Teaches them how to block. So even though Ruckert is not out there catching a bunch, like I say, 55 receptions after coming into the draft, in the 2022 draft as third-round pick, not a lot of receptions, but he knows how to block. He knows how to do the other things. The Jets love that about him. He's only caught 20 passes this year, 163 yards, but he's playing quite a bit there, and plus he grew up a Jets fan, which is a cool thing for him. All right, before we go any further, I want to tell you about the Back Nine. The Back Nine is Columbus's latest and greatest, as far as I'm concerned, indoor golf simulator. And right now you can, they just opened up. They got 3 bays there. It's beautiful. It's a lot of fun out there. Tim May and I played out there, but they're doing this thing right now with a Columbus holiday box. And it's a $300 value. And you get it for $150. It gets you 50% off of that price. Yes, you'll get a 1-month membership, 24/7 golf. Literally, you can go in there anytime you want, 24/7. Set up your tee time online, but as long as one of the bays are available, you can go in there and play anytime, 24/7. A great thing about that. Also, you get Back Nine branded golf balls. You get a Back Nine beanie. You also get a Back Nine towel. And what's cool about it is it's in Upper Arlington. It's right it's very close to Hilliard, Dublin, Grandview. It's all right around that area. The address for it right now is 2820 Fishinger Road in Upper Arlington. But you can go in there. You'll make your membership. Pay for membership. You make your tee times online. Go in there and have fun. I did it the other day with Tim May. Like I said, I had a blast. You can do all kinds of different games, play many different courses. Muirfield's on there. Obviously, Pebble Beach, St. Andrews, all those other ones are out there as well that you can play on there. But we played a little Muirfield and some Pebble Beach. So the website is theback9golf.com/Columbus-Upper-Arlington-OH. Look, you can call or text 614-362-7888. That's 362-PUT on that one. Just go to, you can email them at Columbus@theback9golf.com. Go check that out. But it's a lot of fun. You'll enjoy it. It's a great gift. Get close to holidays, need a last-second thing. Do the 1-month membership for this. You'll be hooked. I promise you. Lots of great things going on there. Okay, more Ohio State football talk. Ohio State tied a program record when Sonny Styles was the 7th first-team All-American of 2025. He was named first-team All-American by the Sporting News. He joins Cade McDonald, Caleb Downs, Jeremiah Smith, also on their All-Americans. Other ones that got named in different places, Caden Curry and Carnell Tate, Arvo Reese, they made Sporting News' second team. But as far as the first teams, though, if you look at the ones that were first-team All-Americans this year, you've got Jeremiah Smith, you've got Caden McDonald, Arvo Reese, Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, Carson Hinsman by the AFCA, and also Caden Curry. So the last time Ohio State had 7 was in 1974 when Archie Griffin led the way for that one. Okay, I want to switch gears a little bit here and talk about, this is so great we're not talking about Michigan today. All the times we've talked about Michigan with this Buckeye Blitz lately, with all the problems they've had, it's kind of a refreshing thing to not talk about Michigan. Anyway, we will, I'm going to mention the name in this next story, though, but it's not for what you think. Steve Sarkisian came out and said that he's planning on honoring the games they have scheduled coming up. They host Ohio State in 2026. They also play Michigan in 2027. And there's been talk about how if Texas does not play Ohio State this year, that's ending right now, if they don't play Ohio State, instead play some cupcake team, do they get into the CFP with the 2-loss instead of the 3 losses? And so there's been talk about some schools saying, you know what, we're going to 9-game conference schedules. We're not going to schedule ourselves a potential loss. Our conference is tough enough as it is. It's going to cost us a playoff spot. I don't know if Texas gets in with 2 losses. Looking at one of the losses was to Florida. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. But Sarkisian said that you look at the principles of CFP, the first bullet point is strength of schedule. We need to honor that criteria. That's what he said. There was a press conference for the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl where they take on Michigan. So he thinks that you need to keep playing games like this, and I agree. I'm glad to hear Sarkisian say that. So anyway, I hope you'll see these games. Ohio State's got Texas next year, then a home and home with Alabama, and a home and home with Georgia. I hope all those games play the way they're supposed to on campus sites, and they get these in still. I hope nothing changes with that. Speaking of conferences, the ACC continues to befuddle me with some of the choices they make regarding how they run their conference. This past season, they botched it with Miami not being in their conference championship game because of their tie-breaking criteria. Miami, to me, was the best team in the ACC this year. They got shut out because they were part of a 5-way tie for second place in the ACC. Duke gets in with their 7-5 record overall, and Duke had not beaten any of the other 4 teams that were lumped in there with them, but Duke still, because of the level of tiebreakers, they won it. Well, now the ACC is saying they're going to so it caused chaos. Let's just say that caused chaos this year for the ACC. You'd think they'd try to do something to maybe not cause chaos. Wrong. Instead, what they're doing this year is there's going to be a 9-game conference schedule for the first time for the ACC, and it's going to be unbalanced, though. And what that means is you'll have 12 teams, I believe it's 12 this year, playing 9 conference games and 5 playing 8 conference games. If you're a Buckeye fan and you're old enough, you remember back in 1982, the Big Ten had a similar thing. They had some teams played 9 games, some teams played 8. There was still a 10-team Big Ten conference. Some played 9, some played 8. In that year, Michigan and Ohio State both finished with 1 conference loss. 1 loss overall for both teams. 1 loss to the conference. 1 loss to the conference for both teams. In their head-to-head, Ohio State beat Michigan. You would think that would mean Ohio State gets the tiebreaker. No, because they go by conference win percentage, and Michigan was 8-1, and Ohio State was just 7-1. Michigan went to the Rose Bowl. Ohio State played BYU in the Holiday Bowl. I see something like that could happen, where you're going to have a team's going to get screwed because they didn't play more games, and it wasn't their fault, because they'll go off winning percentage. Now, they're still trying to figure out all the tiebreakers on that. Based on what happened this past season, I don't trust the ACC to be smart about it. Also, 4-star running back, Legend Bay, also wide receiver, he's going to be a running back. He was the kid who's essentially forced to sign with Tennessee on signing day because his mom wanted him to do it, and she had to be the one to sign up for his financial aid. Big brother also was involved. His big brother also was pressuring him to go to Tennessee. The kid's from Texas, so I got to believe there was some kind of inducements that paid to his mom or given to his mom to get him to go to Tennessee. Well, now Tennessee has released him from that scholarship, the NIL, and he will now be free to go to Ohio State. Like I say, he's a 4-star kid, running back, wide receiver, likely playing running back for Ohio State. Legend Bay, with that kind of name, you better be good. Close out with one more thing here, just I thought was interesting. The Athletic, they polled more than 24 coaches from Power 4 and Group of 5 schools and asked them a series of questions and to get their opinion on what they think. That one of the questions, which team will win it all in the CFP? So they asked all these guys that question, and the choice was Georgia at 1, 50%, Ohio State 42%, Indiana 4%, Oregon 4%. They think those are the 4 that could win it. There's no votes for Texas Tech in there. Let's see the next one. Which team would you least like to play? This one surprised me. Georgia 46%, Ohio State 21%, Indiana 17%, Miami 8%, Ole Miss 4%. I don't understand the Ole Miss one, but team you'd least like to play. But this one I want to tell you about before we close things out here. Who do you think is the best coach in the playoff? I certainly didn't expect to see 4 names that weren't Ryan Day. At the top of the list is Kirby Smart at 50%, then Kurt Cignetti 38%, Dan Lanning 8%, Joey McGuire 4%. And I understand if you want to say Kirby Smart, that's fine. If you want to have Cignetti up there too, that's fine. Why isn't Ryan Day getting any votes though? How does he not get any votes for being the best coach in the playoff? He's lost 1 game since last year's Michigan loss. He swept through 4 games there in the CFP and then swept through the regular season here until he lost to Indiana. But I got to believe that he would get at least 1 or 2 votes out of that. I was surprised by that. All right, folks, that's it for today's Buckeye Blitz. Fan3sports.com. That's where you go to check everything out. Follow me on Twitter @ThitHappens. We'll talk again soon, folks. Stay warm.